The situation right now for a group of 48 Uyghur men detained in Thailand is such that they are awaiting to hear news if they will be deported back to their homeland in China or whether they will be given safe haven either in Thailand or another country. The group of 48 men have been held for around 10 years after fleeing persecution in China. Their homeland is in the northwest of China, a region known as Xinjiang, where the Uyghur people have been facing linguistic erasure, removal of their language from the education system, restrictions on their religious rights, and employment discrimination. My fieldwork and research during 2009 to 2014 interviewed many people wishing to leave the region, and the men that found themselves stuck in a Thai detention centre fled that persecution and now are trapped in limbo. There has been a lack of international attention on this specific issue and a lack of governmental pressure or even exposure by NGOs. So myself and groups of researchers decided to craft a statement which over 200 scholars signed, saying that the men should be given safe haven and should not be deported according to international law. The media coverage of the issue has increased recently because the men heard they were going to be deported. So we've seen coverage by the Telegraph, BBC, The Guardian, in which I was interviewed and made the point that this threat of deportation takes place during a presidential handover in the US, essentially when the world is looking the other way and the US government is in a state of limbo. However, the men have not yet been deported. They remain at risk, but we don't know what will happen next. So more broadly, we know there are no enforcement mechanisms to protect the rights of asylum seekers. There are international law to prevent their deportation without due process, but there's no enforcement body. So the solution to this problem, firstly, is to prevent persecution at the source. We know that the UN makes statements on the states in question about rights abuses that are contravening international law. These should be directly addressed in international courts. But we do also need debates and mechanisms that will more effectively enforce the rights of asylum seekers. We need to separate the issue of economic migration and seeking refuge from persecution. However, the tragic reality is that asylum and migration are difficult political issues. There's limited political appetite to address these. And we now see a lot of changes in global politics where we're moving away from human rights towards a world of great powers. So it will become incumbent upon researchers and NGOs to establish the fact and continue a conversation about how to protect human rights.